Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Today I'll be doing another what if video in Wings of Fire. What if Clearsight stayed with Darkstalker? This idea was suggested by Bursting Rainbows and I absolutely love it. If you have any what if ideas, please let me know down below. By use yours, you'll be given full credit for the idea. Once again, thank you to Bursting Rainbows for suggesting this one. Keep in mind that this video contains major spoilers for the ending of Darkstalker Legends. If you get spoiled because you didn't listen to the warning, that's not my fault. Anyways, without further ado, let's get into the video. At the end of Darkstalker Legends, Clearsight makes the difficult choice to abandon Darkstalker in the cave and give him the bracelet the Phasm created. He would supposedly be put to sleep forever, meaning that he could cause no further harm. In the actual series, Clearsight ends up putting the bracelet on Darkstalker and flies away, soon discovering the continent of Pantala. However, what if things went differently? What if Clearsight chose to stay with Darkstalker rather than stop him? Phasm had agreed to make the bracelet in order to put Darkstalker to sleep, yet Clearsight still didn't feel like this was the right thing to do. He had to have some good in him, right? Clearsight began to rationalize everything in her head on the way to the mountain she was supposed to go to, and the doubt swirled in her mind. Was she the one in the wrong here? Maybe she should give him another chance. He would do the same for her, surely. As soon as Darkstalker found out that Clearsight left and was planning something with Phasm, he became outraged. His first thoughts were that Phasm betrayed him and managed to trick Clearsight into doing this. He immediately left the stage and flew right towards Agate Mountain. As soon as he landed towards the edge of the mountain, he saw Clearsight sitting there, holding some kind of bracelet. "What is the meaning of this?" "I think that is out of Phasm as a friend," Darkstalker scoffed. "He's the one manipulating you, Clearsight. This is his wrongdoing, and we need to make it right. Together." Clearsight only sat there, small tear droplets running down her cheeks. She twisted the bracelet between her talons anxiously and couldn't meet his gaze. The two sat in silence for a moment until Darkstalker began to question her. "What is it that you're holding, and why won't you speak to me? Let me guess, Phasm is around this corner and ready to pounce." Clearsight finally looked up at him, and he met her tear-stained eyes. She looked miserable, but Darkstalker still wanted some kind of answers. "It's nothing, but I promise that Phasm isn't the one in the wrong here, honey. You've been doing all these horrible things. Can't you see that?" Darkstalker only rolled his eyes at her and ended up putting a claw on her shoulder. "I wish you could see this as clearly as I do. Clearsight, you're being manipulated by Phasm. I can help you. We can stop him, then maybe the world will have some good in it." Darkstalker hated the idea of his friend betraying him. He didn't care for anything to seem rational at this point. Clearsight would never act like this if something else weren't going on, and he wanted to find out what it was. She sniffled and glanced back at the bracelet she was holding. "Please listen to me, Clearsight," Darkstalker said. "We can stop him together. We can figure out what he's up to and why he wants to get rid of me. I know you'd never want harm to befall me, right?" Clearsight, looking down at the bracelet for the last time, said a tiny, "Right," and lightly tossed it on the ground next to them. Darkstalker smiled, finally glad that she was back on his side. "No matter what, I will find a way to fix whatever Phasm has done to her. Then we can be happy together with no interruptions this time." He held her hand, and they both took off in flight. "I will find you, Phasm," Darkstalker thought, "and I will make you pay for what you did to my girlfriend." The two barely spoke a word amongst each other for the whole flight until they finally reached the Nightwing Kingdom. Phasm was hastily trying to evacuate everyone from the city, causing Darkstalker to feel pure rage once more. In his anger, Darkstalker screamed out to Phasm and stopped time all around them. Every Nightwing in motion froze, causing Clearsight to jump back in fear. Phasm slowly turned behind him, seeing the shock of Clearsight with Darkstalker again, seemingly all he could think about. "Clearsight," Phasm whispered. "Where's the bracelet? This wasn't part of the plan." She couldn't bring herself to say anything and was trapped inside all the wrong ways this future was going to turn out. There was no turning back now, her visions told her. Phasm, worried by her not responding to him, decided to say something to Darkstalker instead. "We were trying to help you, you know. You've gone completely mad. You just traumatized hundreds of Nightwing Dragonettes by your actions towards your father, and all you care about is revenge?" Darkstalker erupted into maniacal laughter and stared Phasm right in the eyes. "No, I understand your real motives. You want to take Clearsight away from me, that's what. We could have been great friends if it weren't for your betrayal. You tried to trick her into doing something to me, and that's not what friends do, Phasm." "Not what friends do?" Phasm yelled. "You trapped Indigo in a wooden figurine, tried to get me under your control, and now you're lecturing me on how to be a good friend?" Clearsight was shaking, completely overwhelmed by the horrible futures being laid before her. Nothing was happy. For the first time ever, there were 0 happy futures on this path. "I don't know what you tried to make her do," Darkstalker began, "but you will pay for it. You will pay for everything you've done to try to stop me from wanting to live a happy life." Fathom growled and angrily sent a wooden spear to charge towards Darkstalker. He knew it would do him no harm due to his invincibility, but wanted to make a point. However, Darkstalker took this as a threat. He angrily launched himself towards Fathom, digging his claws into his scales. Fathom recoiled in pain, trying to put some pressure in the wound. Before he could fight back, Darkstalker pinned him to the ground. "You're weak, Fathom. Use your powers. Use them! Even with them, you'll never stand a chance against me. You're just what everyone thinks you are, a freak. We could have been freaks together, but you decided to turn back on me. I gave you the opportunity to be so much more than the Seemings wanted you to be." Fathom immediately lost it. "Darkstalker, you're wrong. I never tried to hurt Clearsight, and I never tried to hurt you. You're so caught up in your own twisted thoughts that you didn't even think about what I was trying to actually do. We wanted to put you to sleep in order to stop you from harming other dragons. I was trying to evacuate a city full of innocent dragons." Darkstalker smiled an awful smile and looked Fathom dead in the eyes. "You'll always be the villain to me, Fathom." And with that last comment, he sent a spear hurtling towards his heart. It successfully hit its mark, causing Fathom to crumple backwards, completely lifeless. Just shame that he didn't even try to use his powers. "Why do you think that is, Clearsight?" Darkstalker asked. When he got no response, he looked backwards at her for the first time since the fight. Clearsight looked awful. She had bags under her eyes like she hadn't slept in days and was shivering. What has she been seeing? Darkstalker thought. He approached her slowly and tried to say reassuring words. "Don't worry, dear," he began. "I'm here for you. What is it that is troubling you? I got rid of the one who has been bothering us. What else do you want?" Finally, Clearsight spoke. What she said was spoken with pure terror, and her voice trembled. "I've been seeing visions. Horrible visions, Darkstalker. Ones in which you take over the other continent. I'm afraid that there are no happy endings in this path we chose." "Oh, this is all my fault." "It's not," Darkstalker said. "Fathom is dead now. None of this is your fault." "Is there truly another continent? Have you been getting visions about it ever since the fight? But why now?" Clearsight interrupted him and finally met his horrid gaze. "Darkstalker, there are no happy endings in any of these futures." He stopped for a moment and immediately shook his head, trying to erase his doubt. "I'm the most powerful animus dragon in all the lands, Clearsight. I can make us a happy ending. An artificial happy ending in which sadness or anger never exists. A world where Fathom never existed and my father's a good dragon. I only ask that you join me." Clearsight already knew that no matter what her response was, she was doomed. The world was doomed. Darkstalker had won, and there was nothing any dragon could do about it. He would soon take over Pantala and finally have control over everything on their planet. Things would never be happy, despite Darkstalker desperately using his magic to fix what was already good in the first place. Just like Clearsight seen in her visions, nobody would ever be happy again. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Sorry for such a depressing ending to this story, but it's what I think would happen if Clearsight ended up not putting Darkstalker to sleep. None of the events of the other books would have happened, and the timeline would have been a huge mess. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!